Okay, who is gonna be secretary?
I don't want it.
I know, but you don't have to want it, somebody has to just do it for one night.
I can't.
Come on, Larry, you can do it. Cause I would do it, but I'm the chairman, I don't think I'm supposed to be chairman and secretary.
Hey,
Alright,
that brings up a point. we need
Oh,
to
did he
discuss.
just reach for it? That was the late reach.
Oops.
I don't think there's gonna be a lot of,
No, but we are at 7 and we are live on YouTube.
yes, okay.
All right, let's do it.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay.
Secretary already ready? Okay.
Okay, roll call.
Darren,
Here?
Hilbert,
Here.
Kohart, LaBeaver,
Yes,
Foley,
Yes.
yes.
Okay, adoption of agenda.
Make the motion. Support.
In favor?
aye.
Aye. Opposed? Agenda is adopted. I won't read the public participation rules unless all of a sudden a bunch of people come in the door. Okay. Approval of minutes, January 11th, 2021.
I'll make that motion.
Norm made
Support.
the motion, support by Chuck. In favor? Aye. Opposed? Approved. Okay, public comment, do we have anybody on the,
No, I didn't do it tonight.
Oh, you didn't do it, okay.
Because that has some technological issues, and given the consideration that this is gonna be, there's gonna be really no action other than a recommendation or just purely discussion at this point. By the time we do come back, I hope to have actually a different, meeting instead of meeting manager that has been filled with nothing but thoughts. We're actually waiting to get folks to convert to Zoom, which is more of a palatable format and platform for viewers.
okay. That sounds good to me. All right, public hearing. Ordinance number 145. An ordinance to amend the Charter Township of Alpena zoning ordinance, section 201, definition, section 205, section 305, accessory buildings, section 416, full table of permitted and special land uses, section 411, B1 restricted business district, section 412, B2 general business district, section 413, B3 community business district, section 407, R1 district, section 408, R2 district, section 409, R3 district, and section 500 purpose and approval summary table. And we don't have any correspondence in regard to this.
This is on the absolute safe side.
Are you connecting with that lady again that's thanks to you?
Does anybody present tonight have any?
Yeah, I went through all of these, and I went through our ordinance, and how is this gonna be done as a finished product? Is this gonna be something like this that's to be tucked in the front of this, or does anybody know?
I can answer because.
Answer, yeah, because I'm not absolutely sure of
Because
that.
Denise did, mention that she can actually, because everything that's in the ordinance, any page that would have changes, she she can integrate it right into the full document instead of an amendment. But that, there again, if you wanna have a rider as any amendments that have come, well, I already gone through one, but.
One other comment is, so I went through all of these, if we have that done, I'd like to see it put right in the document, so you can't be going back and forth, but this thing here, I spent time going through and finding out exactly what page these are on. If that didn't have it on there, somebody could get lost and
Yeah.
miss
Oh,
something.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. That's-
Yeah,
I'd
it
like to
could-
see it put
could
in
get
the
tucked back
document.
in somebody's book and we wouldn't even look at it.
Yeah.
And this
Oh,
might
if
go
it
in the
was an
front of it,
add-on?
Yeah,
this might go in the front of it, the amendments all in one place, but the documents, I think, should be brought up to date. You have to print a new one, you gotta print a new one.
My feeling is because, and this is, would be a recommendation from this commission moving forward, is you integrate all changes into the body of the document so that that is seamless, because now it is a linear living document in terms of live links. You implement that, but you also have a rider, so that you have all the amendments, because we're gonna be having a new ordinance. So ordinance 145 will highlight what you see in your packet,
right.
but she can integrate it into the live document. That way we can have that revamped on our website anytime that because we're gonna go through this.
There's gonna be more, yes,
Several
yes.
times, as time progresses. We're just gonna have cases that show light on scenarios that weren't given thought to, and not good, bad, or indifferent, it's just a
Yeah.
learning process.
I think Denise probably, if she can do this, would be able to do it in probably such a manner where you wouldn't have to reprint the whole darn new document, you could reprint just those pages.
Yes,
Oh, just
And
for-
she did email that to us in that effect, is that she has it on a lot, they have it on their server, so she can just plug and
Perfect.
play.
Yeah, this,
But the ordinance, as we move forward, I believe that the last set of amendments were under ordinance 144. So 144 would still be right behind in the main body of 142, which is the entire zoning ordinance.
Mhm.
But any of these amendments, if you will be just changed right in, because they are so site-specific.
oh yeah, they're very, and if you didn't have them in one place or the other, have the amendments or whatever there, yeah, I like that.
I mean, before we went online, I know our MDOT documents, we always did that every so often, they would send, a whole stack of new pages and you put them in your three-ring binder. I mean,
Yeah.
that was before
So-
online, but,
So it was kinda seamless then.
well, yeah, because otherwise,
You'd never look in the
No, you
back
won't.
to see if there was, and you'd never have a note
yeah,
on anything to
So,
look.
so the minutes reflect, and I would like to keep us kind of pointed in that right direction.
yes.
Do we have a motion on the table to open the public hearing?
Oh,
I think
did we?
we did, and you, I think our secretary missed it.
I may have, because I would unlock the door, so I just wanted to make sure that my minutes reflect.
Yeah, we did open it, and I supported it.
Okay.
Well, that was the minute.
Oh,
Yeah, the approval of the minutes.
Okay.
was-
well,
I'll
maybe-
make a motion
Maybe
that
we
we
did,
open-
we will right now. Who's
Okay.
gonna
I'll make that motion that we open.
Norm's gonna make that motion, Chuck is gonna support that we open the public hearing.
Beautiful.
Oh.
Thank you, John.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, okay, and we're open.
Okay. Okay, continue by all means.
Okay, back to, I believe that, that's the best way to do it, is have her incorporated in there and get us some new pages and,
Just add to what we have.
yes.
And we'll get to see the finished product before we put our stamp on it. I
Right.
hope.
And this is still, the board has approved the first one, 144, right?
Yes,
And-
and that time allotment I believe that's already come back to the board, for the 30-day opportunity for comment.
Okay.
With the county, and correct me if I'm wrong there.
I don't know, it may have disappeared, we haven't seen it there yet, so I haven't seen it anyway.
Yeah,
But we're gonna have a meeting, hopefully this
We're
month.
trying. We're trying to follow the rules,
I
and if
know.
the other, if the other group
everything
doesn't,
gets
we
sent
can't.
certified
Yeah,
mail.
okay.
So my minutes are reflected of the fact that under discussion is that it's, this commission's wish to have Denise Klein integrate, all amendments in terms of, streamlined right into the existing
Yes.
142.
Yes. We don't need, that doesn't have to be in the form of a motion, that's just a,
No,
that's
it's,
just,
it's,
okay,
it's this, I think that
Yeah.
makes the most sense.
it does.
Because how can you have a live document with direct live links, and then you still would have to correlate it to an
Yes.
amendment or a separate ordinance?
Okay.
The ordinance and amendments will be standalone, but to have it integrated into 142 makes the most sense.
Let me give her a call tomorrow and see what's going on with that too. And I'll get back
Oh,
with you.
okay, okay.
Because I'm, you know, we haven't had a meeting since, what, November? I think, and I don't even know, we don't even know if we're gonna have a meeting this month yet, so. I
You're gonna
would-
reach out to Ms. Dunkel?
Yes.
Okay.
Or maybe I'll give Tammy a call first, just for protocol, so.
Okay, and besides that, does anybody have any comment on the wording of anything in the document, or?
No, I went through it, I did it too, and I went through, and I was satisfied with it. There was a couple little verbiages there, but they're not worth messing with as far as but yeah, I'm, at this point, I'm satisfied with what's there.
I think what's there is very important, and it's
Yeah,
right to the point.
And right to the point, and if we incorporate,
You know,
like
yeah,
we're talking
Be a
about,
smooth
we
transition.
make it simpler and we go with it, and in the future, we can respond to it without have to go back and forth and lose this and forget about that.
Yeah, because I think that the reality is, trustee Foley had stated, is that it's only a handful of pages, and she already has everything electronically, so I think what she's actually waiting is the direction, and once she knows the direction,
Oh, good.
it'll be just a few clicks
okay,
and cut and paste
Good.
rather than, but,
Well, if nobody has any more, Mr. Chairman,
We
I will
can-
make a
yeah.
motion.
Chuck is making a motion to close public hearing.
I'll support.
Norm is supporting. I don't know if we should have done this by voice vote or not, but, or roll call or voice vote.
let me, Chuck made the motion.
Norm
close.
supported.
Norm support.
Okay. But this is good, because it's getting ready for a March board review.
Yeah.
So- Yeah, Lynn will be like, where was Anne Marie? I'll sit down.
Yeah.
So, okay, let's go through as a roll call. Daring.
Yes.
Norm,
Yes.
Chuck,
Yes.
Tom.
Yes. Okay, public hearing is closed.
The next would be, if everybody's in agreement with this commission, a motion to recommend adoption of ordinance 145 to the Charter Township of Board of Trustees.
I'll make a motion.
Support.
Hearing and Fever supports.
Okay, and this is also a roll. Okay, Hilbert,
Yes.
Daring,
Yes.
LaFever,
Yes.
Foley.
Yes.
Motion passed. Then the new business is.
New business election of officers. And do we have anybody in mind for a seventh member?
I'm still open. Everybody
Okay.
that's, it's tough
Is
to
it?
find somebody that has at least a fair amount of base. Not that they have to be, I'm not
Fair.
looking for a polished diamond. But right now, the seventh is, I have not brought forward a recommendation for appointment of the seventh as of yet. So
Okay.
I do apologize for that.
So maybe we ought to start looking. I haven't looked. There's some folks out there
I'll
that,
take recommendations.
Okay.
I mean, I've put some good feelers out through even people that don't
Yeah.
want it, but have great connections. So I'll point
Let's-
my direction. by all
let's
means.
think about it. And before we move with that, should probably go under general discussion, but exactly what's going on here tonight, I'd like to talk to, or at least put it on the table, is that I'm involved in 5 different committees or commissions, and in every one of those, we have a paid secretary, okay? Now, one of the things that's really worked out well for us in the county is that when, like Anne Marie has to be secretary, or we had Lisa for secretary, they can't really participate in the action that goes on, in my opinion. They're trying to write this, well, you got the same, they're trying to get the minutes down, get it right, is it spelled right, is it in the order? And they're not participating as a member, I think, as a secretary. So in each one of those, we went to the county board, and we've got a young lady that does in each of the county meetings, and in the planning and zoning for the county, we have Mary Dunkel that does the minutes. So the thought I would have to throw it on the table is, and I don't know if we have the funds in the township, or we have the wherewithal, or to bring somebody in other than an employee, but Lynn would be a possibility in my mind, to have her be the secretary, a paid secretary, and we don't pay them that much, but along with their other job, it's a little extra money for them, which they appreciate. And then they're on top of the minutes, because when you get done tonight, tomorrow it's got to go to her. She's got to rewrite them and redo it and put it all together anyway. So it's worked really well. So I would think that in most commissions and subcommittees in the bylaws, some time ago, back some years ago, I was responsible of a commission, and we put it in the bylaws where we could go out and hire. But it's a matter of budget, too. If we have the money to do something like that, but I think it would work well with us, because it's working well the other places that or the other committees and commissions I'm involved in. Just a thought to throw out there that it works a lot smoother. It's a lot easier on you, and lets all the board members be able to participate without having to worry if they got the minutes right and what's being said and spelled right and who are you and those sort of things. Just a thought. So, but you still have to elect a secretary, but because we're required by ordinance.
So I can answer a couple things for you in regards to one, the good, the bad, and the ugly is that Lynn is not available
Okay.
because we're a union house.
Yep.
And it's outside the scope of the union contract. But we are currently going through our budget. So I'll close this out so we can get back to the business of
Business
elections.
at hand. Yeah.
And then we can drop back to it. It can be given as through discussion, a direction as a potential recommendation to the liaison to the Board of Trustees to ask in that budget process, because we actually did make it through thus far, the proposed aspects and recommended of this commission. But it could be, Norm could bring it back to the Board of Trustees to ask for additional funding for asphaltation, because it does make it easier. There's no lying about that. Secondly, now having live stream, you actually have now an immediate opportunity to go back second by second and clarify minutes. So it's kind of a technology is technology where we want it to be versus having somebody, because it also is in this bylaws that the secretary is the secretary, and there henceforth takes the minutes of those meetings. So just consideration.
Yeah, I think it needs
unfortunately,
to
in-house
be on the
employees
table.
it's an out of the scope of the union contract, and I could always entertain that, and send that request to the union steward, which also is Lynn Dowse. But it is outside the scope of the union contract.
And it wouldn't be much to change that job description, probably.
Oh, it would be.
Oh, it would be? To change
So,
it?
I'm just gonna let you know. We have a year and a half left on a contract that's,
Huh.
it may be easier, in that vein of thought, to bring in somebody unaffiliated as a current township
have that, is that an option that we have? That with being that it's a union shop, we still have that option to bring a contract employee in to do it? Or whatever you want to call that person?
I would have to go through those steps. I'd have to offer it internal. And then it would be a potential to an amendment of a contract. It's not, I wish it was this easy
No,
to say.
yeah, I understand.
Yeah, but they're in, I mean,
I think it's worth looking at them.
it's definitely, so, that would be a consideration for, the liaison of this commission to take it back to the board, because tomorrow we're coming back to another budget session. And yeah, I think any and all conversation that can help, because you're extremely right. Henceforth with me at the board or at this meeting, I'm running telephone, IT, and running a meeting, and
That's not right neither.
it's,
And it's hard to participate and to keep your mind straightened out on everything to.
well, amazingly, I have the ability.
Oh, okay.
So should,
I know you're a multitasker and you're very well, very good at it.
Yeah.
so should that be in a form of a motion, or should that?
Yeah, well, we can cover, so right now,
Let's,
we're
we'll
actually,
go back to
Okay, we'll go
discussion
back to-
that I just,
we're in the new business,
All right,
the
all
new
right.
business at hand is the election of officers.
All right.
But by all means, that would be a potential
All
in
right.
that discussion to bring, the direction of the liaison to the board of trustees for consideration. But right now, and please remind me, because when we are done, I appointed everybody. I have Chuck, Tom, Larry, Anne Marie's not here this evening, but I will all give you your oath, because in this conversation, I extended a 1 year to everybody across the board for your terms, so that we can have this conversation and say, within the election of officers, what are people's expectations? I don't want to overextend our welcome, so if I want to hear some feedback there. So I have the authority, as Michelle told me I do, to swear you in and give you your oath. So you'll be giving one for a 1 year term to the ZBA, and then also your second would be to the planning commission. And then both Larry and Chuck will be raising their right hands for a 1 year term extension for this.
Okay, and now we do that after?
Yeah, I'll
Okay.
go grab, I luckily just thought of that 18-pound book.
Okay,
So. But there is, right as it stands, the election of officers stand for the chair, the vice chair, and the secretary.
Are you interested in retaining this, Tom?
yeah, sure, if you guys,
I'll make that motion that we have Tom,
I'll support.
the chairman.
So will I.
We could cast a unanimous white ball for him, right?
okay, so we need a,
The roll call, we'll start, where did we leave off? Chuck,
Yes.
Polk,
Yes.
Darren,
Yes.
and Hilbert.
yes,
See, normally, Tom, you are a rare, because normally the chair is appointed whoever's not at the meeting.
Oh, so Anne Marie could be up for it then.
I did speak with Anne Marie, and she was willing to take a 1 year extension, but I would like this commission to know that that is probably all that she will
Yeah.
offer. So I sweet talked her,
I talked to her today too, and she said she wouldn't bail on us,
yeah,
being this, it's so, times are so,
in a state of flux,
yes,
most
yes.
definitely.
But she's probably gonna, yeah.
So,
Okay, well, but that's
So-
next year, so
Well,
we'll
let me
have
ask
some time
this,
to.
since you folks have had conversations with her, would she accept the vice chair for the extension for a year, do you think?
I think she
I
will.
think she would, yeah.
Well, okay, if you're ready for the motion,
Do we have a motion on the table to elect a
let's
vice
do
chair?
it.
Okay, Chuck, to elect Anne Marie,
That's who
I'll
I,
support.
and support Ryan Daring. Okay, Hilbert,
Yes,
LaVever,
yes.
Foley,
Yes.
Daring.
Yes.
Okay. Secretary, there again, now leads you to that inevitable decision.
So you
Even
need
with the potentials of discussion and,
We need to find a woman out there. A guy
I would
out there, I'm
strongly
sorry.
recommend that we don't have that mindset.
No.
Someone with good handwriting.
Well, yeah, I mean, I'm secretary treasurer of the St. Anne's, or All Saints Ushers Club, because the secretary couldn't hear, so he couldn't do any minutes, so
Really?
yeah.
Wow.
What was it?
I would-
Secretary
yeah.
chair, would that work?
Yeah. So that's all it takes?
What?
Yeah.
Yeah. No, it just takes somebody that, Lisa was just outstanding,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, but,
Excellent job.
I mean, as it stands, with, the complete resignation of Ms. Brendel, we have, Mr. Daring, John Kohart, Chuck, available for, the potential secretary position.
No, thank you.
Chuck, would
Yeah,
you?
no, I decline.
Wait,
I
wait,
have
wait, no.
too
let me-
much in the
Let me
fight.
finish.
Huh?
Would you take the title and with the comment of, hopefully we can find this person to be the secretary if we need a title?
That puts me in a bind because I'm also secretary of another
Okay,
operation.
I'm just
there.
asking.
And, no, I can't do it. I've got too many sticks in the fire.
and I guess I never asked John.
He's not president, and I think I did mention something about those who are not president.
Yeah.
Sometimes take on responsibility.
Yes,
He's
I do.
He's the least senior, so maybe he,
Is John, he hasn't been here for a while.
well,
He was here,
he makes about every other meeting because I believe he has some kind of a nice job, doesn't he?
He worked
he is now working at the county equalization department.
Oh,
Oh, he
really?
is.
Huh?
So actually,
Because he emailed me, said he couldn't make it, so, but he didn't say why.
I don't know if he's working an after-hours job,
Oh.
but that doesn't mean that that appointment couldn't be made.
I think I'd make that appointment. I'll
There's
make
a
that
motion
motion.
on the table to appoint by Norm Foley to elect John Kohart
I'll
Vice chair.
support.
to the
No,
secretary.
secretary.
Oh, secretary, I'm sorry.
Supported by Mr. Daring. Okay, Foley,
Yes.
Daring,
Yes.
Hilbert,
Yes,
Levy.
Yes.
Okay, I'll let him know that he
He's
is just
been
moved
railroaded.
his way up to the secretary position.
Good
And it
to-
can always be open for discussion, if things
Yeah.
and schedules don't, I mean,
No, we're still gonna pursue the,
well, and now, so,
Bring this to- now- now-
this concludes your new business.
we'll
So
conclude
to-
the, motion to conclude nominations, nominating,
So move.
I'll support.
election of officers, I should say. Okay. Motion by Chuck, supported by Larry.
But they'll still look,
Well, and that's where we can actually, in discussion,
In their new
Um,
business.
We can make it an
So,
action.
okay, do you
item on
need
that.
a roll call?
No, on
Okay.
both, just a voice
Just to close,
on
okay,
that.
all in favor? Close election of officers.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, closed. Okay, now we can discuss the, I agree with Chuck, because the secretary and some of those, especially some of those bigger ones, it's
the meetings.
meetings, yeah, I mean, she
Yeah,
had.
'cause you're thinking about that, but then you have to, and
Yeah.
that's,
Yeah, because, I mean, she worked with Tim, and I don't know if she ever was able to make any, participate at all, but she did a great job writing it.
right.
But,
She did have comments and stuff.
Yeah.
Questions and things.
I see, what is the possibility, and we'd have to, once, go to the board and see what the board's thoughts are, whether our budget can handle it, but there's this place downtown, close to the main city fire hall, they say that they get job hirings, or what?
Oh, star staffing?
Star staffing.
Yeah.
You know, there's a point where maybe there's some ladies out there that are willing to come in and they got the secretarial capabilities. They don't need the smarts, they just need to put the
Oh.
stuff down that we tell them,
I'm
correct?
trying to remember, because when when we decided to do that at the county, gee, there were two ladies that came and volunteered to be paid and do it. And I can't, I've got it written down someplace,
Well-
but there are some people out there that actually do that sort of thing. They've got a, I don't know. what
Well,
the
and
name
they're
of
not
it
all ladies.
Yeah, no,
You know,
yeah.
Person,
Person, I meant to
person
say,
would be
yeah.
the acceptable nomenclature for this discussion.
Absolutely, yeah.
I will say this, and it can be discussed, but, our clerk is, gonna be bringing forward a recommendation to our board at the meeting tomorrow, for a potential hire. I know that part of her, job duties will be to kind of hopefully integrate and take over, the minutes and running IT for the board of trustees. So that might be, something that could be addressed by, Mr. Foley at tomorrow's meeting, going into budget. And we can always throw it out internally, and offer it to.
Well, it sounds like we kind of have to throw it out internally, right?
We have to.
Okay, so I mean, if Norm brings this to the board then, and they say, okay, well, then you gotta go through you gotta dot all the i's and cross all the t's to make sure you're doing.
It has to be posted internally for 5 days
Okay.
before it goes outside.
Okay,
So that would be the protocol.
and maybe this new person might wanna do that, or,
Yeah, boy, that would be slick
Yeah.
if we could make that happen.
Well, that way they'd be versed all the way
Yeah.
around.
yes.
And they'd have all the
Also,
contacts.
right
in
here, and it sounds like that person's gonna have some, skills to,
IT and everything.
yeah.
So
So that would, that'd be fine with us. I
there. Yeah.
mean,
So,
I just have in my discussion that, trustee Foley will be, addressing the board of trustees, to the potential of, either hiring or offer internal, secretary position pursuant to FOPLC, and then some of my side notes are star staffing question mark.
Okay. Are we, I'm looking at a set of minutes here from February 9th, or a set of bylaws from February 2015. Is this the, do I have the latest? I'm not even,
yeah, we talked about, in the last supervisor was, involved. We had a pretty direct one of the problems with the bylaws from before with the last supervisor was the ability to call a meeting. That was a discussion we had because I think in the existing bylaws, it says that only the supervisor, the chairman can only call a meeting. In most commissions and most committees somewhere, it's two or a quorum. Depends on the people for a quorum, how many people you need 3 people to call or 2 people to call. So we had that discussion, and then at that point, we said we need to review the bylaws, and it never got done. So I would think, we were into 5 going on 6 years or whatever with the bylaws. It's time we look at them, and at that time, we could update them and then put in the bit about having a secretary, we still have a secretary elected, but we also have a clerical secretary. I think it's called in a couple of the bylaws I'm familiar with. So yeah, that should be it down the road somewhere. I think we should review, now we've got the rest of the things reviewed. I think it's time for this. It's over 5 years old, I think.
yes, from 2015, if this is the latest. Go ahead, Norm.
if you remember, we'd never had any bylaws, and we got talking about them, and I brought this canned version off of MTA.
I have those too, yes.
And that's what that is.
Well, that's what that is.
Yep.
There's
I have this one. I have this one I think you brought, Norm, but then I have,
there is another one.
this is Alpena Township Planning Commission bylaws, February 9th, 2015.
I think that's when we, well, you're on the board too, so.
Yeah.
What's
So
the other one?
This is the latest that you know of, Nathan, or?
That's one document that in my tenure, we have not discussed. It is something, that you could definitely have on your agenda for
Okay.
your March 8th meeting. reference.
Then we could all
Which
get
one
on.
do we have?
Yeah,
No, I mean, which one is the one? You said you
No.
got two of them.
Oh, I have this, this one, but this has no, this is just a proposed draft.
Oh, that might have been the.
Yeah, and I don't know,
yeah, and what we
this
did,
is 17 pages long, and I'm sure we're not gonna,
No.
and I have a file on the whole thing that we did, and I'll check that when and we'll make it available, and I'll maybe send you guys some stuff. But this
What
does
one,
everybody have a copy of those?
What, I got it at home. What's that dated?
15th of,
February 9th, 2015. Larry, did you ever read a copy? No?
That, I know.
and
February.
a lot of, yeah, that didn't happen at some
15.
points too, but anyway, is that one was brought in and it was looked at, and this is just, took the old one, there was some that they had, and we redid
I don't think
some
we
of
ever
this.
had one, did we?
Well, they come up with, she had one from someplace, I'm not
Okay.
sure, I've got it. and
Mr.
I can't
Secretary
remember.
Supervisor, would you have Lynn scan these and
Yeah, if
email
you
them?
leave them, I just went to our webpage, because I've been having Lynn implement and put a lot of all the documents in a very linear fashion to eliminate clicks. I will, I'll make a copy of this before we leave and give the hard copy back to you.
Okay.
So if I can, I don't have anything on there. Well, that means nothing. I don't know what it is.
But it says, I mean,
It's like speaking his native language.
maybe
I remember we passed that we had bylaws.
Okay, anyway.
And I brought up the canned version from MTA.
And then you brought in that one set.
So you
and
think we got something different than that, Norm?
No, I think that's probably it,
Okay.
but we just basically filled in the blanks.
Yeah,
If I
and
remember
then-
right.
And then we reviewed it, and then it was supposed to be acted on and brought forward, and again, it never was, and we
Don't want,
talked
don't.
about it, and it just,
Okay, well, now we will, because we're gonna, unless we find that that isn't the latest version, we're gonna,
Yeah, I'll have her look into it. I'll scan this, then pull out all points of reference. I just, like I said, I went through documents and through planning commission, looking for, for any set of bylaws, and there's nothing on our webpage. So I'll scan this in and start that conversation. Look to MTA and maybe pull a few reference bylaws potentials from Denise Klein with some
Yes.
of the other planning.
yeah.
yes, I bet you is.
Well, she talked about it, about reviewing them, and she said that she had a bunch of sample, and I'm sure she does.
Yeah.
But I have, like I said, I have a file, I have all the stuff in there that we were doing at that time, so I'll
Perfect.
check that too and see where we're at.
We'll keep it as simple as we can, but we gotta cover all the bases, so. Anything else?
It sounds like I've been, as a zoning administrator, given a task to look at an R1 district potential violation of use that would require special use by an individual and business that has come before this commission prior. And I will bring back my findings to the March 8th meeting.
Okay.
I know that I have also set up some packets for the process of special use, and I'll see if those cases will be on the docket for March 8th. I would hope that there's going to be some open cases. Your March 8th meeting will actually hit your bylaw stipulations of your meeting quota for the year. So we made that with having the two meetings that were held in December.
Good.
So we were able to get past that, so commend you guys for making yourselves available. But as I see stated under discussion, the potentials to hire a secretary for minutes, for trustee Foley to address this matter with the board for potential considerations for internal posting and/or financial considerations for hire. Bylaws to check into the 2015, and March 8th meeting.
Very
And if
good.
we can, if she can get those examples, I'll send them out, so,
Yeah, and I'll CC you on my
Members
emails to
can
her, because with the
review 'em and-
ordinance and the amendments, I wanted to make sure that you as chair, as I always have, are very well informed moving forward in that regard.
okay.
Is there any other discussion for the greater good?
Okay, now you're just gonna swear us in.
Yeah, actually, let's do it while we're still on
Alright.
and I'll go grab that, oath of book.
So the last meeting, you guys okayed the small house, or
Yes.
tiny house?
Yes.
My.
You were here, weren't you?
No,
No?
no, I had a little AFib issue that night, so
Oh,
we're gonna hopefully figure out what's going on
Yeah.
that. The, the biggest concern of mine was gray water and sewage
we.
coming out of
We
it.
addressed it.
You did?
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, okay,
It's,
because,
For the time being, it's just gonna be, they're gonna collect and transport,
right, but he's gonna have a shower,
but he's supposed to collect and transport. And,
And-
you know, that, I mean,
And
'cause,
if he doesn't,
if he
then,
doesn't, then that's not,
okay,
yeah.
I know it's a health
It was
department
brought up.
issue.
No, we talked about it.
Because
Oh, yeah.
when, I do a lot of camping with a trailer,
Yeah,
and you acquire a lot more gray water than you do black
yes,
water.
yes,
And, I mean, like 5 times
yeah.
more.
That was,
And-
that was brought up to him, and, you know, he told us he's gonna do it. So, I mean, that's one of those, well,
Right,
you know, you told us you're gonna do it, so we have to take you at your word. And if you don't, then we're gonna send Nathan over there to tell you you're,
okay. But there are
to nail
other,
all kinds of orange,
We'll call it.
violation,
but there's other health departments, other than ours, that will let you put a holding tank in, and then have that pumped. Where this health department in these areas won't. There's other areas that let you do that. But they're worried about somebody putting a line in and stuff, because I asked a few people on that, and they said some health departments will, but ours isn't one of them.
you know,
But anyway,
and while we're off the track a little bit here too, just to throw one out, if anybody's heard about this, is I'm involved in the county parks there, and we just heard, and there's a communication, but nothing official, and maybe it's old or what, but we just got it, is that lake property, okay, can have, I think it's up to 10 trailers, campers, parked on lake property via Eagle. Now, we're gonna look into that, but that's important because it goes back to what we're saying and your concerns, my concerns is seeing all these campers on lake property, lots that are allowed for the summer season to have, that many campers, trailers, whatever. And we're gonna check it because it's an interesting thing, and if it's BS, then I'll let you know, but we
10?
just got it, so.
Yeah, I don't know if there's much validity to it, but by all means, bring it back.
We'll find.
This commission has already set
Wow.
forward, but it's actually, it's not Eagle. It's
That's
District Health Department 4 that has the ability to define a campground.
Well, no, we have to go, there are 3 operations that we have to go. Health Department's one of them, and we have to go through Eagle, and we have to go to the DNR kind of thing, and then there's an organization that has some input, some feed into the DNR kind of thing. So I'll get that information. It's good for us to know, because if it's a state ordinance or is a state ordinance, then we're gonna have to take a look at that, because,
wow.
and it could be not true. This was just a researcher giving us information, and
It's
so.
meant to be that restrictive on
Well,
some
how we got
things.
into it was pristine or primitive camping sites. And primitive camping sites, this kind of falls under it, because if you have a piece of property at the lake and a cottage on it, okay, and then you bring camper, 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 there's no facilities, then it's primitive, okay? And if you don't charge them, and in some cases, suggestion, if you charge each camper $1, okay, you're running a campground, it's a primitive campground. There's lots of things that might take off from this if it's really true. This is a researcher that got it, and so when I get some more on it, I'll get.
Let's get the truth first.
Yeah, we gotta find out if it's true.
Okay, let's see here, who's gonna be up first? Well, Mr. Jerry, might as well just, hit you since you are the closest.
Which one is February and January? Let me take one and take a look at it.
Okay, so, Ms. Jerry, I'm gonna ask you to please stand. Raise your right hand. And repeat after me. I do solemnly swear
I do solemnly swear
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of this state,
and the Constitution of this state,
and that I will faithfully discharge
and I will faithfully discharge
the duties of the office of Planning Commission
the duties of the office of Planning Commission
in and for the Township of Alpena,
in and for the Township of Alpena,
the County of Alpena,
the County of Alpena,
according to the best of my ability.
according to the best of my ability.
Wonderful. Please add your signature to this line, sir. Remove one sticker. It's my first time with those. Michelle highlighted it. Supervisors can give oaths. I was like, okay, so that means you don't want to show up.
The charter township.
Yes, well,
You said the township.
well, because I'm reading it and that's outdated. So, Tom, you're actually going to be given two oaths.
Okay.
I do solemnly swear
I do solemnly swear
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of this state,
and the Constitution of this state,
and that I will faithfully discharge
and I will faithfully discharge
the duties of the office of Planning Commission
the duties of the Office of Planning Commission
in and for the Charter Township of Alpena,
in and for the Charter Township of Alpena,
the County of Alpena,
County of Alpena,
according to the best of my ability.
according to the best of my ability.
Okay, and you'll be signing where there's the red sticker. And guess what? You get to raise that right hand one more time. I do solemnly swear
I do solemnly swear
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of this state,
and the Constitution of this state,
and that I will faithfully discharge
and I will faithfully discharge
the duties of the office of Zoning Board of Appeals
the duties of the Office of Zoning Board of Appeals
in and for the Charter Township of Alpena,
in and for the Charter Township of Alpena,
the County of Alpena,
County of Alpena,
according to the best of my ability.
according to the best of my abilities.
Wonderful. Thank you very much, sir. Will you please sign this line? I got, yeah, there, oh, you can sign the separate one here,
Where's that?
right on this line.
This one?
Yep. And moving down the line,
And here we go.
raise your right hand. Repeat after me.
I will.
I do solemnly swear
I do solemnly swear
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of this state,
and the Constitution of this state,
and that I will faithfully discharge
and I will faithfully discharge
the duties of the Office of Planning Commission
the duties of the Office of Planning Commission
in and for the Charter Township of Alpena,
in and for the Charter Township of Alpena,
the County of Alpena,
County of Alpena,
according to the best of my ability.
according to the best of my ability.
Thank you very much, sir. And sign on that line, please. Thank you very much, and I will catch Anne Marie at the next meeting. Hey, Chairman, is there any other discussion for the greater good?
Is there any
see if we can get some.
Yes.
How many are we
potential
looking?
people to our
Well,
supervisor.
right now, if, I would take one, individual, but, and keep in the backs of your mind that, right now, everybody that did sign that paper has 1 year, so please give consideration if you'd like to have extension of, cause I didn't wanna, I would love to have staggered, terms, so that we're not all hitting, completion of, service on the same date. So everybody that just, gave their oath, if amongst yourselves, if there would be consideration to a 2 or a 3-year term, so that I can have a staggered approach, we can discuss that at the following March 8th meeting as it stands right now. But we do have one opening. And as it stands, we know that on the horizon, Ms. Rich will probably be stepping down from this commission after the completion of her 1 year. So, by all means, have them call my cell phone, shoot me an email, and I'll continue to, kind of beat the ground, but it's been tough.
Supervisor Skibby, I believe you said you gave them a 1-year extension?
Yes,
Would that be extension to what they presently have?
no, well, sorry, let me clarify. It's a renewal of term for 1 year. It's not an extension. Actually, everybody's term had come to fruition. And so without going and giving Larry, Tom, and Chuck appointments of 2, 3, and without full discussion, I figured for expediency purposes, I'd go 1 year across the board, and please speak with your significant others and make a determination, because I would like to have, like I had mentioned, just a staggered term so that we're not coming into next year and we're looking for 6 individuals at once.
So what is our standard term? 2, 3?
No, there is no standard.
Okay.
They're all, the planning commission is appointed by myself. There's no standard. I would just like to have, I don't see going at a full 4 years, but 3, 2, and 1, just to have some rotation.
Rotation, yeah.
And that there's not, like I said, not everybody's coming up on, the completion of their service all at the same time. So I didn't want to overextend, our welcome as a township by saying, congratulations, here's 3 years, here's 2. I wanted to have this conversation this evening, so that you could go home and give consideration whether or not you would like more than just the 1 year, because then I would take that back and announce that to the board, that you.
Yeah, well, that's nice, because then we can kind of plan too, you know, if I would like, I feel I can do another 2 years, then fine, and if I feel I want to go in a year, then
Yeah.
fine too. So we can help plan, so that's
Yeah,
great.
because
That's
you've,
great.
you've done a tremendous amount of work for the township thus far, and I didn't want to overextend my bounds, so to speak, of, putting additional years of service upon you. So, please give that consideration. If you'd be willing to have an additional, so right now, everybody's 1 year. So it'd be either 2 years or 1 more additional year. And if one of the 3 of you, we know that Anne Marie's only the 1 year. So if between the 3 of you, if you don't want any more years other than the 1 year, just let me know. And
Yeah,
if you'd
quickly,
like
eh?
2 years or an additional year, that would put you 3 years out. Just let me know.
So if we're talking to a prospective person, what can we say? You can choose the numbers you want, or?
Just have
Up
them
to-
get a hold of me. I mean,
Yeah,
one,
okay. You want to have that discussion.
Somebody brand new, before you throw them off the deep end, considering that I'm taking my son to swim class in a couple days for the first time, I would love to toss him in the deep end. But you also need to test the waters. Because especially if it's somebody without any experience, I think we've been blessed, I've been blessed to have your experience thus far. To bring in somebody new, I think let them acclimate. So it may be just a 1 year for a new appointee, and let them make that decision for themselves if it's something that they would like to continue on with.
I think that's a good plan. That sounds good to me.
And as it stands, your next meeting date is March the 8th. I'm in hopes that I can get 1 or if not 2 cases
Is there any special area that, you know, that would really add to our board? You know, as somebody that specializes in some particular area that we're missing on the board, or do we wanna, there's folks out there, you know, if somebody.
Well, yeah, and those are good things, that's how I also look at things. But I think, for that exercise, Mr. LaFever, you guys have actually really done all the hard work. We have a solid ordinance. But yeah, that's how I also think of it. What niche of a
Can you
profession
split, yeah.
can I find in that talent pool to bring in something that would be, something that may be lackluster?
Yeah, or with contacts in an area that we're pretty devoid of right now, yeah, that's a,
This person does not have to live in the township, is that correct?
Not for appointments on the planning commission. That is not a stipulation. It is not an elected position, whereas you have to live within, the metes and bounds. This can be somebody from the area. Obviously, participation, is of the highest consideration. But that is not a stipulation. That is only for elected positions. It does add, because if you have a vested interest in the community, which you're a tax base, but there's talent pools available, so.
so we need a real estate guy, eh?
All kinds of niches. Chairman Hilberg, is there anything else that you need to address with the board?
No, I don't think so. I am good.
Good.
Gentlemen, you good?
Good to go.
All right,
Is there a motion to adjourn?
we don't need a motion, we just
That's
adjourn.
right, you guys do it.
Adjourn.
Adjourn, 7:58.
Hey,
Thank you very much.
can I ask
you.
a question about that?
Did a great job,
You're
Madam
not being a
Secretary.
push the button.
Where did you get that from?